Awesome. But hey, if you want to jump in, you know what? Fuck that. I mean, let's put the invitation in here. That's just gonna be easier.
That is gonna be easier.
Yep, I'll just put it right here. If anybody wants to jump in, I mean, let's put the invitation. I hear myself.
That is gonna be easier.
I
hear myself too.
It was an echo because I had the other window open. So that's how I had to open it up, then share it earlier on Twitter and all that shit. I should probably do that real quick. Let me share this.
Yeah, that's what I was just trying to do real quick with all like the usual hashtags to get those bots that do the. That's what we need. We need an army of sharers. Like not everyone wants to come on the live stream, and I'm okay with that. But I'm like, maybe you can just like hype our stuff up on whatever social media is your jam.
I know we're live and it's not like the Mute the Media stream, but should I have an idea for that? It's called the Mute the Media Army. That first level buy-in, there's certain things I got ideas. We got ideas. There's plans.
So Shai, what hashtag should I use?
Support small streamers. And live stream. Yeah.
Small streamers and just live stream, huh? I should put StreamYard hashtag in here too.
Oh, there you go.
I'm trying to see if I can. Hopefully, someday we can earn a damn sponsorship. That'd be cool. And they will retweet us. You know, they have a pretty big thing going on there. But yeah, man, if anybody wants to jump in here, that'd be cool. There we go.
Oh and yeah, Matt. I also just want to point out. Nice, Matt. I just want to point out, especially since we're live, so I can clip this later. That Michael Patrick didn't come to my first live. So thank you for coming to my first live. It is noted. And yeah, not that it's a competition between you two, but I'm just going to point that out.
Yes.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hey, Carmen said she'll sign up for the Mute the Media Army. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
What's up, Heidi?
Hey, Matt.
Matt says, so is Matt the only one with a real live green screen? Yeah, his is live, all right.
Oh, no, mine's live.
Yeah, I like the art, though. That's pretty fucking dope. I like that. Do you do that?
No, I'm selling my place. It's not even mine.
Yeah, my oldest stepson, he has two paintings. He does oil paintings. He's actually going to try and sell them for the first time in his life. He used to give them away as gifts. These are like $1,000 paintings. 16 by 20. That's a lot of material and hours, and he just gives them away. Oh, yes. Yeah. Ron is here, too. Yes. All right. What's up, Ron?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, yeah. Just want to give you guys a heads up. So I just want to talk to you specifically, Ron, about this. I'm setting up an interview for when I come back from New York with your representative that's going to be running against Mr. Rubio. Alan Ellison, I think it is.
Really?
Alan Ellison. He's running against yeah, I've actually talked to my stepson about NFT. The problem with NFT is it takes quite a bit of resources up front to set it up. And there is no guarantee you're going to break even on that shit. So I told him right now he's going to sell the actual painting. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to try something new. I'm going to put his paintings on the back of phone cases and sell the art on a phone case because his shit is legit. I mean, I'm a fan of his work, and he's only been doing it for 2 years, self-taught, man. Blows my mind every damn time, man. Yeah, so I'd love to jump in for the January 6th convo, but I have family in town, so head. Oh, okay, I get it, man. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for being here. Either way, but yeah, we're gonna talk about that one first, actually. So, can you guys all see the article that we're talking about that's in the group DM on Twitter? Well, you're probably on your phone, aren't you, Heidi? That's okay. Yeah. So I actually have it pulled up. Where'd it go? Yeah, it's a NBC News article. Okay. And Shai already has it bullet pointed and everything. So she's way ahead of the stream. All right. You guys ready to jump in the first one? Well, we got a private chat. Who is? Oh, it's Shai. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, I'm just putting so one more time because I'm like doing 3 things at once. I'm just trying to get the social media thing that says come watch the live. What is the first article you wanted to talk about?
We're gonna do the one about the let me see what order it's in. The first one's January 6th commissions first.
Okay. I just want to double check. You went in the order in which they just randomly were put in there. Okay.
Yep. I'm just gonna go with it.
And Matt, are you cool introducing that one? Because it seems like it's more your jam.
Yeah, I can introduce it.
So, hot sauce. There's a link if you want to jump in. Do it right now because we're getting ready to start this next article. And you know, it'd be cool to have 6 people. Oh, there it is. Hot sauce is in the house. Perfect. Yeah, turn away from that light. Perfect. All right.
Hey
All
guys,
right.
how am I coming
Awesome. You look good, man. Turn your phone sideways if you can.
in? Let's see.
It don't like you.
No,
Boom, like that. There you go.
it is what it is.
Well, usually the landscape. It don't matter. We're good. That's right, Carl. She's too smart for her own damn good. That's right. But yeah, let's go ahead and so let's go ahead. I'll jump into the first one. Is the January 6th commission bill. I haven't had a chance to read the whole thing, so I just got home from work and went live, honestly, on TikTok. Puppy. I'm a sucker for dogs, man.
Me too.
But yeah, so I'll pitch it over to you, Matt, and we'll go from there, okay?
Cool. Yeah, so there was a Senate report dropped about.
No, not yet. Remember, we gotta do our intro.
Hey, my bad.
No worries. Yeah, definitely, guys. Like the stream. What up, Kitty? How the hell was I gonna start that? Oh yeah. All right, guys. Let's see if we can change some minds today. What do you got on the low for us tonight, Matt?
All right, guys. So a couple days back, the Senate dropped a 128-page report on January 6th. They largely left Mr. Donald Trump out of it because it was bipartisan. They didn't want Republicans to lose their minds, of course. It was dropped by 2 different panels of the Senate, right? The Senate Homeland and Governmental Affairs Committee, and then the Senate Rules Committee. And so there's like 20 various recommendations they make. It kind of highlights some of the failures of communication, a lot of the information that was there, but for some reason not acted upon. And it's pretty bad, man. It's exactly what we thought it was. And it blows my mind that we have this dropping in the aftermath of the Republicans failing to push through the January 6th commission events. So I'll leave it at that. Let's get into it.
Well, the big thing is they're trying to say, who do we blame without blaming the people that's actually responsible for it? Which I say, pure bullshit. Do an actual fucking investigation. Because if you're the right wingers, we want to. It's the damn Black Lives Matter people. It's Antifa. Let's investigate it. If it's them, they should go to fucking jail, right? I call your bullshit. Then they won't, right? So that's kind of how I feel. They don't want to investigate it. They're scared because I think their entire base will go to jail, and their structure of the Senate could be up in arms because you had the one old boy out there pumping that fist. And you had, what's that bootlicker from South Carolina? Oh, hell. Lindsey Graham, that little shaky little bitch. Yeah, like, so you had all those people who kept spouting it over and over. They carried that torch for Trump that entire week leading up to that thing. So they all have skin in the game. They're scared. That's what I think.
There's some relevant things that need to be mentioned. Just kind of remember when we talk about this. Because there's like a lot of people will try what happened or try and like deflect. But first of all, 140 officers were attacked and sustained injuries that day. 63 sustained concussions. I believe as of now, 7 people have died in the aftermath of this, including multiple officers themselves. Okay. Right. So there's that very day, right? People don't understand the significance of what was going on that day. That very day, you have the Congress, right? The Senate and the House confirming our election. They were confirming your vote. Right, a vote that allows for the peaceful transition of power. That's what was attacked. So that's what's fucking like. It's just mind blowing to me. Like it's like in the aftermath of that, if you are still partisan and you're a traitor. Like that's what we don't like do. We're too like we on the left don't recognize this either. Like we're still trying to have conversations with people, and it's like this is a clear cut kind of thing. We don't recognize it, and we're gonna have a really hard time on the back end of all of this if we don't get ahead of what's coming already. So.
What do you got on this guy? Oh, you're muted.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you just said.
Oh yeah, no, I was muted.
Yes.
Which I recommend everyone mute when you're not talking because it just makes it easier for the software to interpret and have a nice crystal clear sound when we are talking.
Yeah.
Boyce, you asked me what my thoughts were.
Yes.
It's interesting that you opened up with like, they need to do an investigation. I'm like, well, they did an investigation. And they were like, not only did they know this was coming, but they did nothing, even knowing it was coming. And that's super problematic.
Yes.
So yeah, that's my one thing to be like, this is not good, that we know that they knew.
2 reasons they didn't act upon it. One was failure, just like communication failures, right? You have too many different agencies, different various like entities that aren't really communicating well. But also the reality is, I think a lot of times these threats weren't taken seriously because these threats were from their own people. Like, that's not insignificant.
Yeah, they weren't scared enough.
No.
What do you got, Heidi?
I mean, I just feel like if they did an actual full investigation, I mean, half of our government would be arrested and put in jail. So it just seems obvious as to why they don't want to do it.
I'm good with it. What you got, Ron?
Yeah, I think there's different reasons why they're going to go this route. One is, like we've said, a lot of Republicans are going to get caught up in it, swept up in it, and I think there would be more Republicans swept up in it than the names we've said so far. I still have a hard time thinking that Marjorie Taylor Greene didn't have something to do with it, with her little tours beforehand, and also it might catch up some of those Capitol Police too. So on one hand, you have some Capitol Police that are getting victimized by the crowd. On the other hand, you've got them taking selfies with each other. I mean,
and telling them right this way, boys.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Yeah. I mean, there were some where I saw they were removing barricades, but it wasn't what it appeared to be. But there were others where it definitely was what it appeared to be. And and I think they don't want that much of a microscope on them before the midterms too. So
yeah, it's for sure a strategy on the midterms. What you got, hot sauce? You got some stank on this?
Yeah, I got some hot sauce for it. Yeah. I guess the question, or really me pointing out the obvious, is: are we really surprised? To me, it seems like they don't want those people to be their enemy. They are their enemy. They've said it consistently. But the people that pulled off the January 6th coup attempt, and let's call it what it is, it was a ham-fisted coup attempt.
Yep.
They didn't want to hurt them. They didn't want to do anything. And I've had conversations with other TikTokers and other people. Had it been us, had it been black people, leftists, liberals, they'd have dropped the bomb on us. We'd all be dead. And case in point, when there was a march, man, they had the jackboots, they had Imperial stormtroopers, Death Stars, and machine guns all pointed at them while they peacefully protested. Right. So there's been a definite disparity in the approach to handling all of it. But honestly, I'm in agreement with everybody. I'm just not shocked. It doesn't shock me one way.
Well, my other thing is what we need to know is there were bombs set on the perimeter just outside. So these people had inside information on what the actual perimeter was they're going to sweep. So there's an inside job to this thing that would have to become the light. Secondly, you have to find out who made the bombs. And if they actually look into those things, like they have actual people that can look it up, right? The materials, where they come from. Is it someone that's active duty in the military? Is this a fucking 2-star general? You know, with a mullet wig and a MAGA hat? You know, you just don't know. But it's really fucked up, man. It's making us look really, really bad that we just turned a blind eye to this. Be like, could have been worse. And it, you know.
Well, I do notice, like in the discourse, the national conversation we have, the comparison keeps getting drawn to the riots during the lockdown and everything over George Floyd and everything in the wake of that. And I try to remark, hey, it's not the same thing. You know, rioting and attempting a coup are two very vastly different things. And yeah, it makes people, riots are designed to make people uncomfortable, which was the point. This coup, like you said earlier, was designed to remove power from the voter, to disrupt our democratic process. And, but the fact that it's being largely ignored, the fact that somebody in the comments mentioned, you know, there's only been 500 arrests, suggests to me that our government doesn't really want to do anything about it. It's like in high school, you know, where the popular kid finally gets his and gets caught, but the school's like, hey man, he's rich. You know, we don't really punish these kids.
Yeah, he's the quarterback.
Yeah, they get a slap on the wrist and a candy bar and told, hey man, don't do that again. And that's kind of what's happening here. They wish it was us. That's what it is. They wish it was the liberals, the left. And by they I mean the Democrats. They really do wish it was us.
Yeah, so I think there's two possible reasons why they really don't want to investigate it. Is one, because Congress and like the Capitol Police were like infiltrated with domestic terrorists or whatever label you want to give the insurrectionists and the people who wanted the insurrection to happen. Yeah, I was like, I don't know what's appropriate, traitor or domestic terrorism, but like whatever you want to call those people. Or it's because there's this notion that in America, we can't hold elected officials with certain accountability because it'll make us look bad. And it's the same reason that after Nixon, they just pardoned him, because you can't have new leaders in a democracy jailing previous leaders. It's why some people who like are like, yeah, Trump is the absolute worst, but of course we should never jail him, because there's this precedent that America has set that like we can't really openly hold one another accountable because it'll make us look bad globally. But that's dumb because we already look horrific globally.
Well,
but that's what we do. But that's the American way. The American way is to shove your head in the fucking sand. It's literally how we do things. Like it's like literally it's our culture. So
right, like what I was gonna say is like, who cares if it makes us look bad? At least it's consistent with all the other bullshit that we do.
Well, no, it's not that we look bad. We are bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we are.
What you are, own that shit and fix it. I don't give a fuck how it looks.
And it's not just the politicians. It's the politicians and the wealthy. There are two separate types of justice in this country. One for the everyday people and one for the wealthy and the powerful. And they are completely different.
Yeah. I mean, accountability. Come on.
You can't have accountability in this country, though.
I wonder if some people in the government, you know, even on the Democratic side, don't want to investigate it either, because then it might actually, like, if half of our government goes to jail, we will actually see how little our government is actually doing. I mean, how many days is the Senate scheduled to work until September?
They're off.
I mean, if half of them were in jail, like, they could get the same shit done.
That's what I'm saying, though. People are literally afraid to accept the reality. We have a bunch of traitorous motherfuckers walking around, and like we are weak as a society because we don't know how to navigate conflict, because our reaction is either shove our head in the sands or to blow something up. And well, we can't blow these people up because they're our fellow countrymen, right? So we don't know how to actually navigate this conflict. We don't have the fucking capability to do so. Most of us don't, I should say. Some of us do.
Yeah. Sorry. I just saw Hot Sauce unmuted himself just to make sure that's the cue.
No disagreement on me. And I guess what it is the disparity of it, but once again, it's also about the narrative we've always done with our news. It's a lot easier to sell it on the news cycle if it's, you know, brown people, Muslims, you know, people like that, as opposed to domestic terrorists who have always been the far more serious danger in this country, who've killed far more people. You know, the pro-lifer crowd who has initiated more domestic terror attacks. You know, you get these alt-left people who initiated a coup. Well, that doesn't really headline too well if we call them outriders. So we better say maybe it was some sort of other. You know, that's not really patriotic. And we all get it from the 24-hour news cycle that happened after 9/11, this new age of false patriotism. And when people don't know how to deal with it, like Matt said, we bury our heads in the sand. We try to hide from it. We don't know how to directly confront it. We don't know how to be pissed off in this country. And I mean, I feel like it speaks to a larger issue that we're currently facing. That larger issue being that the people who initiated the coup, the people they were so-called representing, are still calling for some kind of civil unrest, some kind of civil war. And we see it every day when we log on TikTok and social media. So this January 6th thing and the result of it, which is nothing happening, no investigation, kind of just galvanizing the people who want something else like it to happen. And like Matt said, we're just burying our heads in the sand, it seems.
Well, go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, I think, too, that there are some in the government, in Congress specifically, that are afraid that this is going to be a slippery slope. That everybody knows there's a culture of corruption in D.C. And if we start actually arresting senators or arresting staff members and arresting, you know, cops in the Capitol and things of that nature, who knows what else we might find. Your senator may find something in another senator, and then, you know, because we have a precedent now of actually arresting people, they might actually get arrested, and none of them want that.
Well, I think about the legal ramifications too. Like, don't you ever have a minimum amount of representatives to pass any laws? Like, this would put an entire stall on everything constitutionally. So I think they're scared of that too. It's like, oh shit, like, if we endanger everyone, we're going to mess up our democracy. Not us, but our democracy. You know. Go ahead, Matt. I saw you tried to unmute yourself. There you go.
Two things. First, I'd like to address Carl Jr.'s comment, because it's something we get a lot when we have these types of conversations, and it's the whole "you guys don't love America" thing or something to that effect. And it's like, it's so silly, because again, the analogy that I would use is imagine taking that logic, that approach to your child. What, you can't criticize your child in hopes that they improve and do better? What, you don't love your child when you see that they could be doing something a little more in a certain context? Like, it's silly. We love our country, therefore we want better for our country, right? We want better for our countrymen. We want to reduce the suffering that we see, right? And we think we can do that. So it's kind of it. Carl, you've been on this ride too long to be dropping rhetoric like that in the comments, bro. So miss me with it.
Oh yeah, and also your conservative ship is showing. It's YOURE. Your. Sorry, bro. Had to do it. I'm an asshole like that. I like Carl, man. He's good people, but it's funny.
I'm not down with I'm kind of, dude, there's like people within, there's just always people within who got things to say, or like, and it's like, nah, that's not like a jokey thing. You use that too often, Carl's, and we'll address that next time I see you, dude. You use humor as a way to run away from comments that you make because you can't stand for what you say. So if you say it, mean it.
Here's my thing, guys. We're here because we love this fucking country, want it to work. That's why we're fucking here. We're not here wasting our goddamn... none of us are getting paid for this shit, guys. It's just the way it is. We're here because we care. We want to see change. I'm thinking about running for office. I want to see fucking change now. Like, so that's all so no one can question our loyalty to this country. No one can... there's no fucking validity to these things. So it's like a duck off water off my back. That shit don't even stick to me anymore. I'm like, whatever, you know.
But the second thing, the more important point I wanted to get to, was we can't hold each other accountable in this country because we haven't held ourselves accountable for the very fucking thing that got this thing going. We can't acknowledge that slavery has done for capitalism and for the American experience and what that's done for the American dream, right? We can't have that conversation. So of course we can't hold our politicians accountable because we can't hold ourselves accountable.
Yeah. Well, and we still haven't lived up to the promises of the Constitution. I mean, it's a misogynistic, racist, secular document. We've managed to keep the racist and misogyny in check, but we haven't kept the secular part in check. You know, like that's kind of murkied the water. But women have only been, again, I'll correct myself, shy. White women have only been voting for 100 years, and slavery is like 2 people ago. Like 2 people. I mean, come on, man. Like someone's parents were born into slavery that is alive today. Some of the older people now, like in the late 1700s. That's 2 people ago. So don't tell me. I hate people saying get over it. It's in the past. Yada yada. Bootstrap this and that. Whatever, man. Fuck off.
That's one thing too. Is I watched a biography on Morgan Freeman, and one of his things that he recalls in his biography is that his dad used to have to, when he needed dental work, he would have to use the back door of the veterinarian to get his dental work done.
That's so.
Think about that. Yeah, that's fucked up beyond measure, beyond words. And if people think, oh well, that was in the past, that there's no ramifications from that nowadays, that wasn't that long ago. And there's an awful lot to overcome there. We've got systemic issues going back thousands of years. Mm-hmm. If you think it's over since the 1960s, you're insane.
Well, and okay. I was just going to say, I'm trying to figure out how to word this without coming off as ageist, but there's a lot of really old people in Congress. And when you're young, your brain is really malleable and like we're super programmable, right? Like that's just, at the end of the day, humans are just easily programmed. Like you can call it brainwashed or indoctrinated, whatever you want to call it, but we're just easily programmed. And the oldest people in Congress, their youth is like predates the civil rights movement. Yeah, so they are programmed to like not be on the same page as like Black people are equal.
Yeah, they're relics.
That's problematic.
Yeah.
It's all just, I'm just peppering. This is everything we're seeing now. It's a symptom. All the civil unrest, the violence, the attempted coup, all these headlines now, they're just symptoms of of things we haven't addressed. And I wanted to address a comment, that Kitty made about systemic racism. I can sum it up. Capitalism was built on it. The whole concept is a direct result of the plantation and slave system that we've had. I've made content on that. Matt's made content on that. And it's absolutely systemic. Our entire foundation is based on that. And
I'd argue it's systematic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I would go so far as to say it is systematic. It is intended. This is how they want it to work. So
poverty is an intended design in a system that can produce with such capability. Because what people have to understand is the inherent nature of capitalism is predatory, right? So that's why it's really funny to me when people are like, "Oh, communism can't work because of human nature." I'm like, yeah, that's because you're judging human nature based upon a capitalistic framework. That's the problem. You're judging things from a capitalistic perspective, where greed is nature. Right, but we don't have to be that way. Humans couldn't be that greedy by nature because we wouldn't be here if we were like that. We have to be a collective species to some extent because we can't make it on our own. We pop out the womb, fucking helpless, and someone takes care of us. And we know that society has long ago took care of people who would be deemed useless by all those fucking natural selection motherfuckers who think they want that kind of society, right? The dog eat dog society, but they don't understand. People don't see the ripple effect. They don't see all the variables that go into this shit beyond their control, and they don't like that shit.
What's even worse to it is when you realize it, you look back on history and you start, I'm not interested in, I like the wars and all that, but I like the humanity of it. I like to study humanity rather than tactics and, who said what. I like to know what people were thinking. And then you suddenly realize, we don't like hurting each other. We try to avoid it. We're predisposed to want to help each other. That's why I hate apocalyptic cinema and all that, where all the people are dicks. And I'm like, but we're not really like that. Your car breaks down, somebody's going to stop to help you change your tire. It's almost inevitable. And, viewing it through that dog eat dog, that might makes right society, that worldview is fundamentally incorrect. So going back to it, it's absolutely systematic. It's psychological. It's everything, really and truthfully.
Well, I'm going to try and circle back. I think the big thing about this insurrection is what it was. It was a fucking weak ass attempt at a coup, but they did try, whatever. But the real thing was it appeared like a coup, but what it was a haphazardly attempt to delay the election by 1 day. That's their only goal. Rudy Giuliani called the wrong person and pulled back the mask. He said, just delay it by 1 day. Because per the Constitution, it's in the Constitution. This must be, verified on this day, January 6th by midnight. It's in the Constitution. So that's their whole point, was they wanted to delay it by 1 day to flex, to prove next time, guys, we're not going to lose this election because we will fucking bring the house down. We're taking it over. Like a Wonder Woman right fighter here says, dress rehearsal. And it almost was, but they had a simple goal. See, the people in this thing didn't know the goals weren't aligned. I think Trump and Trump's people that are pulling the puppeteers.
They were creating chaos. They were creating chaos with protesters there to stop the steal so that the fucking few motherfuckers there to accomplish some shit could maneuver within that to get to their goal.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That's how this is how this shit always works, folks. There's a distraction. There's something, a loud noise, something happening here to try and draw force, try and draw eyes away. And then the real mission's going on beneath that somewhere. And this is all things in life, whether it's magician, whether it's warfare, whether it's fucking sports, whatever it is. Good tactics are fucking hiding the main attack.
And it's especially a modus operandi for Republicans. They like their useful idiots, and they have plenty of them.
Well, Democrats do too.
But here's the thing. You don't need useful idiots if you control the House and the Senate and you don't care about democracy. So it only didn't work really because the Republicans that would have gladly not certified the election didn't outnumber the people who cared about democracy.
Elections matter, guys, at all levels. State reps, U.S. Congress, Senate, the whole 9 yards. Supreme Court judges matter. I mean,
there may be a smaller number that are willing to do the dirty work, but there's certainly more than enough of them to look the other way.
Hot take right there.
I caught you on something that I wanted to address real quick, Boyce.
Yeah.
But, The Democrats too. Yeah, mind you, this isn't a defense of the Democrats. I just want to add that, look, the Democrats absolutely suck. I think they're spineless wimps who don't know that they're actually in a fight. They're more focused on fighting us than the people who are trying to take them down. But the Republicans are fundamentally far worse. They are way worse.
Yeah.
And I avoid calling the Democrats out, not because they don't suck, but because I see no need to wash the dishes when the house is on fire. We have a much larger problem.
Mm-hmm. But I never fail to call out the Democrats, so I have to be consistent because there's a fuck ton of idiots.
I just posit that's why we're losing. That's why the Republicans keep beating us. It's because they circle the wagons and we do not. We eat our own very.
But that's why the Dems might be worse. That's why, in my opinion, sometimes I struggle with who annoys me more, the right or the left, because in the end, large aspects of the right don't really hide what the fuck they are. They just are what they are. And there's something to be said for people who just are what the fuck they are, right? They don't hide what the fuck they are. There's a lot of motherfuckers on the left who are lip service. They're fake. They want to fucking pat themselves on the back. They want to front and fucking make sure they look good in front of people. But when it comes down to rolling up your sleeves and doing shit in the fucking trenches, they don't want any of that action. They're not part of that shit. They're not doing shit. They don't actually give a fuck when it comes down to it. So, and to me, that's the bigger problem because these are the people we need behind us, right? Because we're not going to get those motherfuckers for the most part. So we need the people who seem to be receptive to actually follow up, right? To not just fucking be in one ear out and then back to whatever the fuck they were doing 8 seconds prior. So,
go ahead, Heidi. He'll be back.
Well, I was just going to add, I mean, I firmly believe I'm allowed to change my mind at any time, you know? And I mean, if you change your mind about the Democrats, like consistency and honesty rather than consistency and support, I think is more important.
Oh, here's Hot Sauce. He's back. There we go. Yeah, and guys, when I say I'm checking the Democrats on this shit too, I'm just being consistent, but it's not an equivalency. It's just consistency. It doesn't mean equivalent. We all know there's lopsided when it comes to dipshittery. I use a Trumpism or a Bushism right there. Dumbassery. Where it's just a different style of corruption, a different style of manipulation. It's all it is. Different style. They both do the same game. They have a different way of going about it. And like Matt was saying, they're just a little more, the Republicans are a little more upfront about it. We're like, yeah, we're fucking racist. We're bigots. We're misogynistic. We're xenophobic. Vote for us if you agree. And that's what they do. They do it well. They stick to their message, man. Democrats, we have too many factions on the left is what it comes down to. And I don't think there is. It's just the people in power make it appear to be more factions. I really don't think there is. I think there's more people in the youth. The youth is the future. It is not the old fucks that are in charge, man. I hate to say it, man. Like, I'll be ageist as fuck. I'm 45. I'm the oldest sumbitch in this room. I'll say it. They got to fucking go.
Well, yeah, because back to Shai's point earlier, talking about all the old motherfuckers in Congress and whatnot, right? Let's dive into that a little deeper. Something I like to bring out as much as possible. So most of them, 65 to 75 years old in the Senate, especially, right? At least half of them, right? How old were they when Martin Luther King died? That group of people.
Will they be 30s?
15 to 25.
They're that old.
Okay, so yeah, about 15, 25, 30. But that young generation is who is currently leading things up in Congress right now, that boomer generation, right? Mm-hmm. And again, we know who killed Martin Luther King Jr. The FBI and the U.S. government denies it. But here's the thing. You're telling me they don't know who the fuck killed that guy when they're all over his ass, fucking wiretapping everything, fucking surveilling everything he was doing. They're getting to the scene before he was ever there. And all of a sudden, we don't know what happened to him on that specific day, though. Go get fucked. No one's that stupid. All right, well, actually, apparently most of the country is. Pardon me. So... my apologies. But yeah, and then at that point in time, 74% of Americans deeply disapproved of Martin Luther King because he wasn't just talking about we can all live in unity. He was talking about our fucking economic structure. He was talking about capitalism. He was talking about our fucking war. He was talking about how we do things as society as it relates to race. He was talking about the fucking moderate, the white liberal who doesn't do shit that we were just talking about. Yep. He was talking about a lot of things that we don't learn about because he got whitewashed, right? So the same people that killed him then said, oh, yeah, he fixed racism. It's all fucking good now. Yeah. And that's why that very same generation was like, oh, yeah, you're right. And they just fucking convinced themselves they're all colorblind.
Well, it's the same generation that said, look, Obama's here. We're doing everything right.
But then started the birther movement, right? Where over half of Republicans then thought because he was black and had a name that didn't sound like theirs, he must be from a different country.
Yeah. When technically John McCain wasn't born in the United States, just so you guys know.
To be fair to John McCain, though, he was actually against that rhetoric.
Yeah, I actually like John McCain. I almost voted for that sumbitch, but he was a Republican. I just couldn't do it. He's a warmonger. But he was respectful. He respected Obama. He didn't demonize him. He said we have a difference in opinions, and that's it. And I can respect that approach, you know. So, but yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this shit up on this one. We're gonna move along. It's been 35 minutes. We've been fucking around. I gotta edit this. But yeah, guys, let us know what you guys think about that comment section. What the fuck are even? I don't even know what the fuck we talked.
January 6th.
That's right. Here we go. What do you guys think about this? Do you support the idea of moving forward with a bill to force Congress to do a legit third-party independent investigation? I know I do. I'm sure a lot of you guys would too. And just let us know what you guys think about that in the comment section. And while you're here, give the video a like, hit the subscribe button. We're gonna get 1,000 subscribers on this biatch. And go check out everybody on TikTok. Everybody's TikToks will be in the description box when I edit these clips up. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next time, and go read a fucking book. All right, good deal. Cool. Oh, Kitty says, talk about how Representative Omar is introducing UBI still. Yeah, I think that's not going to happen until September, though. I think it's too close to them going on vacation. I think she's going to hold on to that, and I think she's going to use that as she's going to weaponize that. I think in a good way to say, here's a bill for UBI. Here comes your midterms, people. Does your representative that you're voting for support your universal basic income or not? I think, and she's been a damn good advocate for it. So that's just my own personal opinion about it. She says, "Oh, poop." Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we can all hope. So the next fun one is critical race theory. This is gonna tickle some feathers, to say the least. Yes. So critical race theory, man, this is a big fucking deal right now too. I'm trying to see in the article. Did it list the states that are trying to get rid of it? No, it doesn't in this one. I think we covered it before about the states that are trying to illegalize.
Tennessee, Idaho, for example. Yeah,
Idaho and Tennessee. It's in there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I have it in there. Yeah, it's just not bold. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. I'm gonna throw this one to you, okay? Oh, I say shy. You shy. I'm looking at you, but you couldn't see the eye contact. All right, you guys ready?
We should give a disclaimer real quick before we dive into this, though, if I may add to what we say.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. I'm so glad you said something. None of us look the way that ideally someone who introduces this segment should look. So I would actually like to not introduce this segment.
I'll do it.
You'll be our minority representative for the day, huh?
Not even that. I'll explain when we get into it.
I'm just being a smart ass. That's I fucked up. I said that, but
you're chilling. No, because it's important to address, and we're going to do that. So
yeah. Okay. So all right. Let's see if we can change some more minds today, guys. What's up next on the low, Matt?
All right. So before I dive into the topic, which is critical race theory, I want to acknowledge the obvious elephant in the room, which is a panel of 6 white-looking people, right? So with that being said, this is obviously not the ideal or even correct group of people to have this conversation. And so if there's anyone out there who feels comfortable, who feels like they're a better representative to have this conversation, we're completely open to that. Jump in the comments, let us know. But with that being said, we're going to kind of invite and kind of open up the conversation and acknowledge all of us have way more to learn in this arena. So like none of us are the expert here. We're not telling you this is how to think. We're just trying to kind of generate a conversation, right? Try and recognize areas where we have deficits and where we have things we need to learn, and try and kind of bring other white people on board with that, because we have to learn a lot about our history, about how these things work. And we need to look to Black scholars, people of color, women, people in the LGBTQ plus community, people in marginalized communities, the indigenous, things of that nature, and the work they're doing. And we need to educate ourselves. So I hope that's what we can kind of do with this segment here. So Shai, do you feel comfortable now kind of jumping in and kind of breaking down what the article kind of has for us?
Yeah. They were, so basically, they're not, they're challenging one of someone's that would be in Biden's administration, because they're we should teach kids that, like, America's racist and we need to do something about it. It's the fist pump guy, Josh Hawley, of Missouri, who specifically is skeptical of allowing this person to be part of the administration, because they are pro. We should teach kids in school about racism and try to fix it.
Because just to kind of expand on that, guys, because what critical race theory stems from is it was a legal perspective, right? Kind of looking at the history of our laws and how racism was kind of playing into that and how that impacted society and the structure of our society. And it stems also from kind of critical theory a little bit, which is a sense from Marxism, right? Which is looking at power imbalances in society, right? And look at the power dynamics within society. And that's kind of really kind of got its ground in like 1979, 1980s, but really precursors in the 1960s and 70s. But basically, man, this is literally education, trying to learn about the topic, and you have white people learning about this as racism itself. Like,
typical, man. It's just typical projection.
Well, that's the whole thing is being mischaracterized by the right as, you know, white people who are subservient and admitting to racism where there is none, and basically being cucks, as they like to put it. And it's not anything about that. It's about teaching factually what happened in the U.S. and what led us to the point where we're at now.
Go ahead, hot sauce.
So, I've been taking your advice, and I've been reading a book.
Nice. Read a fucking book.
And it's a bit deeper than that. It's a course correction on how we teach history in this country, on the history that's been taught. And to understand critical race theory, you got to understand what's been being taught before, which we all do. We've all been taught the sanitized version of history our entire lives. And critical race theory endeavors to do a supreme course correction on that. And I guess the primary thing I tend to ask people who are against it that I run into is what problem do you have with critical race theory being taught? And the result is they don't know because they haven't read any of the books that have been written on it. And I find it kind of weird that people are having a knee-jerk reaction to something that they've never even looked into.
Well, that's most people on most things, honestly.
That's very sad. that is sad.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, go ahead, Ron.
I was going to say, yeah, that's not weird. That's actually par for the course. I mean, name a subject where conservatives approach the subject thoughtfully and know what they're talking about. There is none.
Taxes.
They never ever do a deep dive. That's why when you're arguing with them, they move from one point to the next. They don't even address the points that you made because they don't understand the material that they're against. And that's why I'm always banging on about critical thinking, because if you want to be effectively against something, you have to understand what that something is. And if you want to make change, that means you have to understand what the situation is in reality. And if you're not doing those things, you're just pissing up a rope.
Well, and it comes back to like our previous segment when we talked about like in America, no one ever wants to hold one another accountable. And so there's all this like internal accountability people would have to take on if they were like, maybe I don't know whether or not I'm subconsciously making racist assessments because I only know my own reality. And like this will point out that I have been making, and they don't want to have that accountability.
Think about. Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
I'll just say, guys, I'll let you inside my mind for a second, right? I had to talk about this out loud on a live stream about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago now. My oldest stepson is biracial. He's half black, half white. My girlfriend's black. My niece and nephews, we have a very diverse family, friend group. Yet there's this one moment where the racist shit I've been taught is still there. It's still fucking there, man. And it's not like it comes out like screaming a racial slur. It's this weird little side glance you give sometimes. You don't know why you do it. I was driving in Chicago, and there's this little old lady sitting on a bench, and there's this like 6'6" big old black guy walking up behind her, but just passing her. But for something in my head triggered, said, make sure she's okay. Like that happened in my own fucking head. That guy had no reason. Like, what is it that made me look in my rearview mirror? Like that shit. I'm 45 years old, man. It's hard to unlearn all the shit we've been taught where black man dangerous is what we've been taught by media, by the music industry, by movies, everything. They all frame black men, especially young black men, as intimidating, as dangerous, and to be wary of. And I'm 45, guys, and I have to admit that shit is still there. And I'm like, as soon as I look back, I'm like, what the fuck am I looking back for? I'm driving, I'm like having an argument in my own head about it. I'm like, why? You fucking asshole. I was like, that's fucked up that I even looked. Like, you know what I mean? So that's how sneaky, systemically racist, bigoted shit is in our heads when we're small. So you just and Carl says, how do we change that? You got to recognize it and own it. You can't act like it didn't happen. I can't keep it to myself. That happened to me, which means it might probably happen to other people too. So that's my thing is we have to acknowledge it. And that's what critical race theory is, acknowledging the thing that's wrong in our system that causes people like me who don't even want to have fucking racist preconceptions of people, right? But it's still there. So critical race theory to me is shining a light on the problem. That's step one. It's like recovery, 12 steps, like admitting you have a problem. Our country needs to go through rehab, like racist rehab is what it should be called instead of critical race. They call it racist rehab for the country. Honestly, that's just what I'll say. I'm just moving on.
Well, going back to that point we made about old people, there's probably not a person on this webpage right now that hasn't heard somebody like a mother, an uncle, a father make a shitty racist remark. Because that's the way we all grew up. And when you are the product of such a system, to think that suddenly racism stopped because you were born into a new generation is ridiculous. Being a beneficiary of this system makes you engage in certain patterns of behavior and in certain patterns of thought. And like you say, recognizing, one, that the behavior is taking place, that those thought processes are taking place, and two, then counter. What can I do to counter this problem? I don't want to be like this anymore. I mean, when I was growing up, we were taught that Brazil nuts were called something else. It's any of you know what I'm talking about. Okay. Yep. But when you grow up with that, you don't think about that until you're older and recognize, hey, this is a problem. So if I can grow up with such a misconception, a blatant misconception like that, what else that was even more subtle have I grown up with? So to think that it suddenly stopped because we're a little bit younger is ridiculous. And again, bang on that critical thinking, you have to evaluate yourself. What kind of patterns am I engaging in? And when those thoughts pop in my head, what can I do to change that and to make sure that I'm not engaging in those patterns of behavior that have been so destructive so far?
Well, I'll say Tennessee and Idaho has already banned it, right? And Texas is working on it. So if anyone watching this lives in those three states, you got some fucking work to do. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Hot Sauce.
Okay, so I just wanted to, out of curiosity, I'm going to end up reading more into this, obviously, but those states, they banned the teaching of it, or they went further and banned any texts or anything like that?
It can't be in the public school curriculum.
The whole curriculum, so no books on it.
Imagine that, banning knowledge in a school.
Some might call that cancel culture.
Right?
Or Jim Crow 2.0, which is what they're trying to call HR1, which is kind of fucking funny. Again, projection.
I think a good allegory for it is modern day Germany. You know, modern day Germans have accepted their country's role in World War II and Nazism. And it's something that they're collectively ashamed of, that they collectively admit took place, that they decided to change their educational system so that they would admit that that took place, and then they collectively decided to atone for it. It's human nature to try to ignore something that you've done wrong. I mean, the Japanese do it with regard to Chinese issues. We do it with regards to racism. But your society is much more healthy when you admit to this and then take steps to actually correct it.
We don't want to be a healthy society, because a healthy society has space for everybody. We want to be an unhealthy, fucked up, barbaric society that only works for a few property holders.
Well, so real quick, and I'm not trying to come at Ron, but I'm like, this is a perfect opportunity. Ron, that language is garbage. You just said the Japanese. Like, there's got to be a better way to be like, are you trying to say like the Japanese government is perpetuating this? People who live in Japan disproportionately perpetuate this? Language like the Japanese are racist against the Chinese is just like, it's not good. Like we got to have better ways of discussing things that aren't.
That's a fair point. Like, so I dropped a video where I referred to the CCP as like China, I think, or it might have been like the Chinese, for example, to that end. And like literally like 4 days later, one of the shootings went down in Atlanta where, some I believe Asian descent was targeted. But I mean, and so I was like, shit, yeah. Like, to your point, I got to be careful.
So like for example, like the language Japan attacked us at Pearl Harbor is bullshit because civilians had nothing to do with that. The Japanese government attacked Pearl Harbor. And by changing that language, you make it so that like 50 years in the future, when there's a nuclear meltdown that devastates that country, people on Facebook aren't like, good, that's karma for those civilians. Or better yet, that are just like, I'm glad we dropped those bombs on those civilians. Like, language matters.
And that's exactly this brings us to the point that we're actually coming to. See, when Shy steps in to correct something that she sees, I don't get offended. I listen to what she has to say. I evaluate what she had to say, and I go, yep, I fucked up. I could have done better. And so I take steps to improve that. But that first step is so hard for so many people. It's not easy.
Yeah.
That's why I fight really hard to correct myself for anybody else does. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. I just wanted to jump in. I don't actually have much to say on the subject. Matt, I really appreciate what you said in the beginning because those were all of my exact thoughts. So just to kind of add on to that, if anybody that is more melanated than us would like to jump on sometime and have a conversation with us, I mean, we are trying to make change and we need people and we need obviously a more variety than what we have. So that's really what I wanted to say.
Go ahead, Hot Sauce.
I'm just kind of piggybacking on what she just said. Because last time we were on here, we talked and somebody pointed something out that they don't talk to people of color. They don't have that in their circle. And I realized how fortunate I am. I happen to have quite the opposite problem. Not that it's a problem. I know a lot of people of color. And I've actually asked them if they would want to get on here and speak their piece. And a lot of them have expressed fear of being targeted, getting fired, getting attacked because of where they live. And we also got to keep that in mind that those who do want to talk often can. And what they have done is encouraged me to keep speaking, not on their behalf, but keep speaking the truth. And that's what I'll keep doing. But I definitely would like to see more people of color. So if anybody knows anybody who wants to come on and talk with us, I'd love it.
I got an idea. What if we make it a personal challenge to take another step forward with this and actually teach critical race theory with some people? Not me being a fucking teacher, right? I just want to be a student of it. But I think we could organize that here because I know some people at the Melanated Council of Yang that are fucking dope as shit. Ron Marzette, Toby, I can't remember Toby's got a tougher last name for me to memorize. And then there's Erica Rhodes is another one's running for Congress in LA. Like, I'd like to get better because that's their thing. This Melanated Council of Yang is talk about the black identity, the black experience in America. I'd like to reach out to them, maybe do a little crossover thing where we could deep dive into critical race theory because none of us were taught it in school. If you didn't buy that fucking book he's got, you don't know what we're talking about, or unless you watch it, you actually seek out that knowledge. It is not free public education, So, Ronald and L, that's right, man. But like that, I think that's something we should all collectively work on. Is like, hey, man, let's see if we can form a kick-ass council of people that can maybe put on a critical race theory panel education, if you will, for us. What's the book? It's Critical Race. You can hold it in up again, Hot Sauce. The Critical Race Theory. Who's the author?
This is written by.
It's Kimberly Crenshaw.
Yeah, Kimberly Crenshaw, and this specific one has a foreword by Cornel West, who I happen to be a big fan of.
Ooh, and even him, I'm reading it because I'm a big fan of that guy. He has been such a damn good representative of just peacefully talking to people and respecting people. Like, he even calls Donald Trump my brother Donald Trump. I'm like, damn, how's he do it? He calls everyone his brother and sister. He treats everyone with that initial respect. He extends the olive branch. I really do. I'm inspired by that. I just have a hard time following through with it. Not a good student of his practices. But yeah, man, I'd love to hear what you guys think about this in the comment section, man. I'd love to do a crossover. You guys know anybody that's willing to get on camera and not just somebody's going to go fucking crazy, but somebody actually knows what they're talking about. Like really come with some knowledge, man. And maybe some other books. Guys, Dr. Cornell West, we'd like to talk to you. That'd be cool. That'd be awesome. Now that'd be a get for the lifetime.
And I wish.
You got that right, man. I'm a huge fan. But yeah, guys, let us know what you think about that in the comment section, man. I mean, how can we battle this in the states that already have it? Tennessee, Idaho, and now Texas is jumping on board, which means the rest of these fools are going to follow suit. It's the same states that probably are introducing 230 new voter restriction laws, and they're voting against H.R. 1, right? It's the same demographic, the same culture that's rejecting all change. So just let us know what you guys think about that in the comment section. While you're here, give the video a like, hit subscribe, ring notification bells, and go read a book. Good deal. That's my new outro, guys. I just say go read a book or go read a fucking book. I'm trying not to say fucking so much. You know, like everything's just the F word. I'm working on that. You know, I have an addiction.
I'm the wrong person to hang around with.
Oh, dude. No, I'm the leader of the F-bomb family, man. Let me tell you. You are about as bad as me, though. I will say that. You and Michael are, we got competition.
I work on it.
Yeah, I'm bad about it, man. I really am. Oh, thank you. There it is. Yes, thanks, Hot Sauce. Critical Race Theory by Crenshaw, forwarded by Dr. Cornell West. Carnage. Say fuck all you want. Yeah. Well, I'm just practicing because once we get monetized, that shit matters.
Yeah.
Big facts.
It matters. I don't give a shit on my own channel, so I say whatever on my own personal channel. This is business of the future. So, you know, so I'm gonna try and get better about it here. I can go have my little vocal purge on my own channel if I want in TikTok, you know.
So Heidi, the segment is over. Like this part he'll cut out. So if you need to exit, like we understand.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta run tonight, you guys. But
no worries.
Thank you.
Thanks,
nice
Heidi.
meeting you, Hot Sauce. Bye, everybody.
Okay, she got to go 6. Yeah, that's her time. Stick to the topic. Yeah, man. Good. I didn't see that private chat over there. I had my thing moved over, so I was looking like at the screen and not off to the side. Yeah, I'm very interested. I actually do need to do. I might do an audio book of the critical race theory when I get back from New York. But let's see what else we got here. Then we got the donations. This should be an easy one. This is actually the right thing to do. So there's no disagreeing on this one. Wait. What? Wait a minute. Let's first, racism is ordinary, not aboriginal. Normal science? What the fuck? The usual way society does business, the everyday experience of most people in this color in this country. They start off by defining racism as just about everything in life. Come on, man. What? With all due respect, I think the commenter is just falling for propaganda.
May I?
Yes. Divisive. What's divisive about saying racism bad? Systemic racism, really fucking bad.
Yeah, Hot Sauce, take a shot at that.
So, the saying, he punctuates it by saying schools don't need to teach every angle of every political theory, especially one that's so divisive in nature. Man, I got to disagree with you. When racism has permeated every fabric of our society up until now. And that's what critical race theory is about, addressing it.
Yeah.
So it's not really divisive. It's trying to do a course correction on what has been divisive. And you can say, no, it hasn't really been divisive, but I posit that we definitely fought the greatest war in the Western Hemisphere about the issue, and have since had other issues based on the back of that. So, like Cheyanne said, I think you're buying into the propaganda a little bit too hard, my brother.
Hey, here's another good point here, man. Vanessa's coming through.
1.2. Saying that racism is ordinary or natural, it's just a naturalistic fallacy. There are a lot of things that are natural that aren't good for you. Cancer, rape, all these things are not good for
poisonous mushrooms, berries.
Our base rate sticks. We overcome our basic instincts in lots of ways, and this is one of the ways where we have to do that.
Also, guys, again with language, it says normal science. There is no science to fucking race. It's not fucking scientific.
Boom. That's what we have to understand right there. This is a social construct. There have been many societies that do not live in a way that define demographics by race like we do, and that don't see the disproportionate outcomes based upon race that we do. This is not like this is what that commentary is saying. It's a fucking indictment on how this structure, how this society, how we do things as a people, how we utilize language, how we utilize our laws, how we utilize our norms and values to create the outcomes that we do.
It's not naturalized, it's normalized in America. That's a big difference.
And to what he just said something else. How is it wrong? That's the question. You're saying it's wrong, but you're not explaining how it's wrong. And I can tell you, reading it, it's not wrong. With the history and the level of society that I've learned over my years, not that I'm an expert, maybe I'm not the best one to say it, but I do read the best. And I can tell you that the people that have written on this, that get paid to do it, actually agree with what critical race theory is saying about race. It's not redefining anything.
Further,
examining it in detail.
Even if it is redefining it, who fucking cares? Words are up to be redefined as we learn more.
Boom.
Are you stagnant in thought? Do you never progress or ever learn anything in life? Did you just come out the womb with set knowledge and then that was it? No matter what information came your way? These are how things strictly are. Do you understand that language is not a strict thing? It's just a way to convey ideas. Have you heard the term semiotics, for example, right? The word itself doesn't really fucking matter. It's just the idea behind it. So I suggest you pause and actually read this shit because you clearly haven't, for starters. And if you take the time to read it and you want to jump on stream and have this conversation, by all means do so. But you're going to need to do more than regurgitate Tucker Carlson talking points. So it's not good enough here.
But thanks for joining us and commenting.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, come on back. We love talking about this stuff, guys. We all invite anyone on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, on fucking any platform you want. We'll show up.
I'll actually raise it. You can bring me the best you got. You can bring me your Ben Shapiro. You can bring me all those people. I'll debate any one of you anytime, any place. Y'all want to talk about this stuff? We can do it.
Ben Shapiro. Yikes. That guy is such a weasel. I talk real fast. Yeah.
If that's their best, I really don't want to see their worst hot sauce.
Dude,
I've seen their worst, and it's not good.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Vanessa, would you like to jump in with us to give us the even sixer here? I'll send you.
No, dude, she's got a bad take on Miracle Whip. We can't have her here.
You guys' food obsessions. Hey, Boyce, do you look at me differently if we disagree on food? Do you think I'm insane or weird? If I have a different preference to food than you?
It depends on the food.
Depends on the food. If you hate Miracle Whip, we're gonna fight. I'll die on this.
Hot sauce. Welcome to the squad.
Miracle
Whip gang, baby. Oh, I like it. Yeah, buddy. Miracle Whip Mafia.
Miracle Whip gang.
Yeah, but I dropped a video today. Miracle Whip gang.
No, dude, I don't fuck with the condiments. I'm just anti-condiment.
I'm anti you now, boy. Dude, condiments are the fucking most vital aspect of life. That's the flavor. That's the sauce. That's the driver. Yeah. That's the key ingredient.
Nope. I tried to explain this to Michael Patrick. A good burger wouldn't need condiments.
My good burgers, trust me, my girlfriend usually likes shit on hers. Just give her straight up cheese on that bitch and a bun. She's a happy camper.
That's fake. That's fake news. That's alternative facts.
Vanessa said
listen here, okay, buddy.
Vanessa said Miracle Whip is garbage. Now I'm gonna make French fries with me dipping my fries in Miracle Whip.
Oh yeah, give me some of that.
That reminds me of Pulp Fiction. At the beginning of Pulp Fiction, they put mayonnaise all over their fucking fries, man. I love it. But yeah, changes. Oh yeah, yeah. You with your dry ass white toast. Blech. I'll take dry toast over fucking whipped cream or Miracle Whip in my shit. Ugh.
You people.
Yeah, Vanessa, do you want to jump in? I'm gonna put the invitation in our group DM. If you want to jump in. Donald Trump's favorite condiment is Miracle Whip.
Dope. Even a broken clock's right twice a day.
right?
There's no shot you can take at me that I can't fucking sidestep, give it back, and make my own.
Do we really think Netanyahu is going to be out? It looks like it.
It seems like they're getting rid of him.
Here's why I think so, Carnage. Because some of the deals he was trying to broker himself with different coalition groups were part of the deal was he'd be stepping down in this time period, and someone else would take place.
Yep.
So I think it's an acknowledgement that regardless of what the politics are, this corruption shit is just in the way of him being like a leader. Like regardless of like the morality of his views and things of this nature, he's got some serious shit he's got to handle. Before he can really probably lead. And I think this isn't the fact that there's such a diverse coalition that disagrees on so many fucking things, that disagrees on so many friggin' things. So
we're not monetized yet.
Right. But who knows, man? This little weasel could fucking pull one out of his ass and land right there back. So who knows?
You got it, man. But yes, let's move on to the next one about the vaccine donations. Let me think. Oh, so you guys probably can't see. Other guys can't see this. Okay, so we'll just rock in this motherfucker. I'll just take this one in intro and we'll go about it. G7. Okay. All right, guys. Let's see if we can change some minds tonight. We're gonna talk about the fact that our president and your president, all you motherfuckers out there, that don't like it, kiss my ass. But our president, your president, the president, even in August, even in September, has agreed to purchase 500 million doses of COVID vaccine, the Pfizer dose, and donate it to other countries in need that are struggling with limited supplies, and as well as 90 other countries that are. The total is 90 plus countries that are struggling with the limited supplies. So it said that 200 million would be donated this year and 300 million donated across the first half of next year. So it said France and Germany are donating 30 million doses. Italy's donating another 15 million. Boris Johnson pledged to donate at least 100 million surplus vaccines within the next year, and including 5 million beginning in the coming weeks. And then Japan said it'll donate 30 million doses. So it's over 2.2 million doses of vaccine will be administered worldwide. Around 560 million of those have been given in the G7 countries alone. And the global population is 7.8 billion. And a quarter of whom are 15 or younger. So we have some vaccines that are approved for 12 and over. And they're still working on the Pfizer trying to get approved for 2 to 12. I think it is 2 or 3 to 12, somewhere near. So this still isn't going to take care of the children of the world, but we can protect them by vaccinating everyone around them. So if you donate $1 billion out of that's 1/8 of the world's needs. So that's what we need to be doing. This should be bringing us together, not dividing us, like Trump wanted to do in blame game. We're saying fuck who caused it. Let's go move forward. And let's just get some. We have resources, others don't. Let's buy doses and help people. I have no problem with this, even if it's our tax dollars. It's better than buying fucking bombs.
Yeah, it only makes sense. I mean, you're actually doing yourself a favor by donating these vaccines. I mean, you're cutting down on the predilection of the variants. You're cutting down on the predilection that it's going to come back into your own borders. There's a million good reasons to do this, and none. The only downside I can see of it is, like you say, it's just not enough yet.
That's kind of the thing that stuck out to me is the timeline on some of this. And it's just like, God damn, dude. Like, when you talk about just unequal distribution and outcomes within the fucking world, it's like how we do things, man. It's like, that's so fucked. How is it right that we live in a world that can produce this type of way? Like, first of all, think about it. We have a fucking pandemic like this, and we have the capability to pump out a vaccine in about less than a year now. Like, right, because like this at least within this context, right, because some of the background we have on the coronavirus family, right, that's been around decades, research and that's like all that jazz, right? It's like, but the reality is we were able to pump this out in less than a year. That's fucking crazy, right? And within that means we could do some crazy shit as a species. And we're talking about how this thing's not going to get to like all aspects of the globe till maybe even next year still, not maybe for sure till next year still, and that's sick because someone like me shouldn't have access to that fucking. I mean, I get I should for herd immunity, but someone like me shouldn't have access to that before someone who is really at risk or something in another country, man. Because like that's just crazy to me. Like it's crazy to me. And it goes back to this whole bullshit American first mentality. The whole nation state idea has to fucking go. Man, it's bullshit, bro.
It's not just the USA problem. It's every country's got to looking out for their own first, which is just that's what a border is all about. That's why you put that pretend line there that we inside this line play by these rules and reap the benefits of these rules. Blah 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 blah. You know, nationalism bullshit, right? But unfortunately, we got to change the world's mind on that one. That's actually how it should go, Matt.
No, we have to change our own. I think it's our own mind on that. We're the fucking superpower. It's our dollar that's tied to the fucking lifeblood of the economic structure, the petrodollar. We dictate shit on this. No, it's going to be the CCP soon. But for now, we still do. So the reality is we could be a good superpower, quote unquote, and be a better force for good. And, you know, but we don't do that, dude. Like, because we don't do. That's why we don't actually work. Imagine if we actually like work to bring democracy to other nations. Like, imagine that. What fucking world would we have if, like, we'd been doing that for the last 75 years?
But we already do with bombs, right?
Yeah, the CIA and their covert operations and our fucking, and our drone strikes and our proxy wars aren't doing that? Crazy.
Stand by. Here comes some democracy for your ass. Boom. Go ahead, Shai.
I was just going to say, so circling back to vaccines, because that is the topic.
Yes.
A couple things, Boyce. You were saying like what they're working on. It's 2 to 11 because they've already approved it for 12-year-olds.
12 and over.
Yeah.
Correction. Yes.
So So a huge chunk of the population is in a bracket that isn't even approved to get the vaccine, right? Mm. Second of all, the doses are not like 1-to-1 and then the person's good to go. It's like going to be 2 because if it's Pfizer, you need both doses. So it's even less individuals who are getting fully vaccinated with all that's being donated. Mm. Also, don't kid yourself, like you guys are saying, this isn't about like the world first. This is still America first because global travel exists. America realizes that. And that's probably in part why the timeline is like, by the end of next year, which means they're anticipating people will still need to be vaccinated for COVID, meaning COVID-19 will still be a thing come December of 2022.
Well, it's going to take that long to get it approved for all age groups. That's the biggest challenge. That's what I heard from that lady yesterday I interviewed, is that it's going to take at least until November, December of this year to get it approved in the United States for emergency uses. So that's the big challenge, is the whole FDA bullshit in America.
Yeah, but that's still 12 months. Like, in other words, American children are going to be getting this as possibly an entire year before children in other countries.
Yes, and adults in other countries.
Yeah, everybody. and that's gross.
Yeah, go ahead, Haas.
So the reason why I like this, I was initially going to be devil's advocate, but I've explained it to people who don't quite understand it. It's like, think about a different kind of apocalypse. You know, yes, I call it an apocalypse because our world is very much changed as a result of it. We had aliens invade. If it were aliens, things we could shoot guns at, everybody would be on. Yeah, send these guns to Africa and the Middle East. Help those people fight off these horrible aliens. But let's replace aliens with a virus. Well, those aliens killed 3.7 million people. This virus killed 3.7 million people. Hell yeah, we should be sending these vaccines everywhere we possibly can. Because if it was something else, like an alien invasion, zombie apocalypse, all that crap, things we can understand and shoot at, then we're on board. But for some reason, this had to be politicized. And I think that's the greatest crime of it all. Mm-hmm. This became a partisan issue. And the fact that our government is now like, never mind, we're going to help. It's something. It's a step forward.
Yeah.
It's what should be done. It's only intelligent.
So again, I'm not the biggest fan of Joe Biden, but I'll give him credit for this. He's leading by example, and he's got us in the G. He's actually at the summit. Like, Trump was playing golf instead of going to the summit, and even the environmental one, he wasn't even there. He didn't like acknowledge it happened. Like, so we're doing some good things. It's the best I can say about it, and I'm, it's just going to take us too long. Go ahead, Shai.
No, I was going to say, I'm a careful Boyce. This has the same kind of energy when the child tax credit. They were like, here's the pitch. It's going to take half of kids that are in poverty out of poverty. And I'm like, that's not the flex you think it is, Democrats.
Yeah.
The flex is we took all the children out of poverty. So this is just a calculated risk that they're like, we're pretty sure we need to do something globally, or as a country, we will be
negatively affected.
How much is this going to impact our economy if other countries aren't up to speed when it comes to tourism, travel of their own, etc.? How that impacts fucking different trade, like different industries,
McDonald's Happy Meals.
Think about
versus them just being like, what do we need to do to globally make sure the least amount of people die?
And fuck with our money.
Can't have
more people alive is good for an economy. Dead people, bad for an economy.
No, go ahead, Ron.
I said you can't have a labor shortage outside the borders. That would be terrible.
That'd be weird, right? Vanessa, what you got on this? And thanks for joining us.
I'm just trying to catch up with you guys right now.
It's just mostly about the fact that we have committed to donating 500 million doses with a G7 summit. And we're talking about how it could be, what's the term I'm thinking of? A little bit selfish by being altruistic selfishness, You
can kill two birds with one stone. You can do the right thing while fucking protecting your economic interests across the globe.
I don't think it's a selfish thing because we're always looked at as the country to do the right thing and to help everybody out. And shit, we have an abundance of fucking vaccines here and we can't fucking, run outside and throw a dart at people to fucking, we're chasing them down trying to get them to take a damn vaccine. No, you ain't giving me no vaccine. So give it to somebody else. I mean, the less people that have it worldwide, the less chance we have it.
Yeah. Well, you bring up a good point, though. The same people are probably going to bitch that we're giving away doses won't take them. So fuck you.
They're going to bitch no matter what.
Exactly.
Fact.
I'm over them. Yeah. I'm so over them.
Yeah, man. I think we're all
like if they were fighting aliens, we'd be sending the armaments over there. But you don't even have to use aliens. You could just say communists and watch all these people fall in line.
There's a radical left faction. And
they get behind that even harder.
Everything the left does is suddenly communism and socialism. That's what they're calling critical race theory. If you go online and you look at all the reasons why they're against it, it's some form of Marxism, it's socialism, it's communism. Everything is frigging communism to them.
I want people to just start explaining what they think communism is.
I always ask them because they don't know.
That's pretty much what I was going to say. They have no idea. They've never picked up a single one of Karl Marx's books. They don't even know how to effectively argue against Karl Marx. I can kill Karl Marx in 2 seconds if I really felt like it. And it goes back to
no one can kill Karl Marx in 2 seconds if they want to.
If Karl Marx would have made money off of his books, he'd have been a capitalist.
Cool. What if? That doesn't mean shit.
He would have been a capitalist.
That's a whole nother episode right there.
Yeah, we can have that talk one day. To the virus, hell yeah, we need this. A little solidarity in the face of a crisis is always needed.
Yeah. This is a foreign body attacking us as a human race.
To his point, though, there were nations that did this very well. How did their leaders frame this? How did the leaders, to the Hot Sauce's point, they framed this as not some kind of war, right, but as a more collective effort. We got to work together against this issue, right? And it worked. And typically, they were female leaders, right, who had a more feminine approach in their language. Feminine doesn't mean feminine doesn't mean like weak or less or woman. It just means more tailored to this fucking context in terms of how you approach it.
We declare war on everything. And it never works, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think any one country is just going to totally, eviscerate this disease. We all have to work together.
Yeah. I'm glad we have these summits for such a thing. We have NATO, we have these summits, we have, some cooperation across the globe. We have an international community now. We have Bitcoin. Hopefully it'll destroy the centralized banking. We, so there's a lot of things in the works that could kind of change this whole game. I hope in the future. Before I die, I want to see it. A decentralized world bank where everyone has access to capital on Bitcoin or a blockchain and yada, 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 and get rid of the centralized banks here and all the tax havens across the world. So fucking thieves. But yeah, by the way, Carnage mentions the first ever Muslim American federal judge in U.S. history was just appointed through Congress. I know we need diversity of thought. That's awesome. And I think that is the appellant court appointee, the federal judge for the appellant.
Oh God, is white Christian America gonna fucking lose their minds when that one makes rounds? God, I can't fucking wait for that. Holy
I'm looking forward to the TikTok videos from conservative TikTok, man. That is gonna be something.
Well, that's okay. Gotta give them something to cry about. So at least maybe it'll get them off this whole. Well, it won't get them off the whole.
They're gonna institute Sharia law. Ah! Boom.
Yeah, the new big scary word is Sharia law. I know it's so simple.
But you girls showing your bodies, y'all need to cover up them ankles. Yeah, Sharia law, right?
Yeah. Well, the Christian ethno state wants the same. They want the Christian version of Sharia law here. They want Christeria diarrhea law here. It's the same bullshit.
Ya Al Qaeda. Ya Al Qaeda.
Yeah. Ya Al Qaeda. With a pinch in your lip.
Bro, you fly that fucking Confederate flag, you're American ISIS.
Yep. Well, and that's the thing too. I want to reflect back to what Ron was saying earlier about Germany. It's illegal to fly the swastika in Germany. It's illegal. You'll get fucking arrested. They have reparations. We do not.
No.
We don't have reparations.
That's not true. We had reparations, a very small, and it's one little area. Some slave owners actually got reparations.
Well, for their loss of property.
Yeah.
So there was so we could figure it out for some people. Apparently, the white people who fucking did the wrong somehow they got some reparations in a few cases.
Because they lost their property.
Figure. Exactly, but that's it. They lost their property because what fucking matters in a capitalistic framework? Property matters more than people. Private property matters more than people. The cops aren't there to protect the people. They're there to protect fucking property. The shit that the fucking masters own. All right? This is the reality. Capitalism has to go on.
Uh-oh.
I really want to hear what he has to say because I know I'm a dig it.
Yeah.
You're fading out there, Matt. You're fading out.
Yeah. What if Boyce wraps up the segment and then when Matt gets back and it's between segments, we can talk about things that don't have to do with the vaccine. Hot take.
Hold on. Capitalism has everything to do with the vaccine and what happened. Let's be clear on that. They definitely tried to market this shit initially. And, the big pharma and all that. Yeah, the discussion of capitalism and the way things are done ultimately, is influenced by the system we have, because who was initially in charge of the distribution of it? Donald Trump, a capitalist, a shitty friggin' capitalist.
Well, we can only look back and hopefully we don't repeat our mistakes, but
make no mistake, Joe Biden's a capitalist too.
Yeah.
So the caution, like Cheyanne, you mentioned earlier about, we gotta watch that hype train. We gotta watch this hype train. We gotta look at it like this. What money value is Joe Biden attaching to this? What is the money that they're getting from this? What's
for the vaccine?
Somebody's getting paid off of this. Somebody's making something.
Yeah, they're making a product. You're getting compensated for it. Yeah.
For sure.
At cost. The shots are provided at cost, but the idea behind it is, of course, to head trouble off at the pass and save yourself money in the long run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah, guys, let us know what you think about this in the comment section, man. Are you for or against the idea of us giving away our precious vaccines that you fucking idiots won't even take?
Yeah. We've had plenty of time now for everybody to get vaccinated who could possibly get vaccinated. And now they're running out of places and people to give the vaccine to. Yeah. And if we don't use them after, I don't know, what is it, 30, 90, however long they end up going bad. So
that's the thing about the Pfizer one. It has to be the temperature regulation and the exposure and the thaw time. Like you have to get it in the arm in a certain window. I don't think it's what's that?
Moderna's that way too.
Yeah, both the mRNA ones, right? But yeah, man, we gotta get these things out there. They're gonna die. Like it's gonna be what's it called? Die on the vine type of thing, you know?
Yeah.
What are we doing, man? Harvest and give it away. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
We have the money. Surprise, you know, we have the money.
It just pisses me off because there's so many people who desperately would love to take the vaccine and they just can't because of their immune system. Right. And we have these assholes that can take it and they just refuse to because they're just being assholes.
Yeah. But, you know, we'll see. All we can do is do the right thing and hope for good results, you know, whatever. But yeah, guys, let us know what you think about the comment section. While you're here, get a video like, hit subscribe, ring the bell, yakety yak. And thanks for joining us. And go read a fucking book, specifically Critical Race Theory. All right, man.
So, hey, Matt, I didn't mean to interrupt if you actually were like on a thing that was related to the G Summit. I didn't think you were going there. So if I misinterpreted that, man, I apologize.
He's going a capitalist rant.
No, you know me. You know me. You did the right thing.
Oh, I really wanted to hear that anti-capitalist rant because
But it was going to go down. There's about 30 seconds.
It was going down. Like I cannot. That's one thing I think I break away from everybody else on when we talk these things. Is like I'm such an anti-capitalist, and whenever they're like, "Oh, we don't have the money to fix this problem. We can't fix infrastructure. We can't throw money at this virus," I'm like, money's paper. It's made up. Like, yeah, we can fix these problems.
Well, I'm pro-capitalism regulated, properly regulated. Yeah. That's the hard part, is finding that sweet spot. Like, I'm pro-capitalism. Like, I've said this a couple of times now on the show in the past, is capitalism, unregulated capitalism, inspires and demands narcissists and psychopaths, right? But the only way to stop that is with proper regulation, which we haven't quite figured out yet, because we have what we have, a fucked up system. It's not regulated because it's being...
Capitalism has to go. It was good for capitalism.
I'm just curious.
It's a good thought. I just don't think it's ever going to go away. I don't think our country was meant to be anything but a capitalist society.
Well, yeah, that's why the flag has to burn. See, now you get it.
That has
my question
that's
is,
not going to make capitalism go away, though.
What do you replace it with? What do you replace it with? That's the thing.
So that's what. So what is communism? What was Marx talking about? He was talking about.
We should have a whole show about that right there, because I actually have quite a few questions about that.
I'm in. Count me in for that. We can talk about Marxism and socialism.
Let's do that on Monday. Have an actual panel about capitalism versus Marxism, socialism.
Order the Communist Manifesto real quick. You can get that in. You can digest that shit really fast. It's a super easy read, super quick.
Yeah, it's not a very big
short book.
And it's such a fun read. I fucking go back and read it every night. I love it. It's a fun read.
That's cool. We should plan on that for Monday, though. Because I am pro-capitalism, like, because I don't see any other way. Like, I don't know of another way. So,
I mean, we can still be a pro-capitalist society with some democratic socialism involved. We just need some reform on our socialism.
See, I don't know, because the problem is, because I used to be that way. I used to be like, well, you know, some capitalism, da-da-da-da-da. But the truth is capitalism is ultimately a racist and predatory system. Inevitably, somebody is going to have to pay. It's always going to persecute marginalized groups, take advantage, and exploit people.
But you're never going to get rid of it in this country with this society, with these people. Everybody loves their things and their stuff and their cars and their houses.
Yeah.
No fucking way, Americans.
But we're not. But we're not getting rid of things in our lifetime. Like, we know that.
No, it's okay, Matt. I was just like, I can't. This is hysterical to me. Carl, you know how Carl's Jr. is always pushing against your idea with the flag.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll pay you not to do it, Matt. And I'm like, no, Carl, that's just capitalism. You're missing the point entirely.
Come with it.
Well, Carl, you have to understand, the more people tell me not to do it, the more I want to do it. First of all, I'm sick. I'm a sick human being. I'm a natural antagonist. So, like, when I see, like, a bunch of shit, like, I just, like, so, for example, like, everyone in the world told me, Breaking Bad's the best fucking show ever. You have to watch it. So I fucking set time in my life to to go watch it, and it was a good show, but it wasn't the greatest show ever, like everyone hyped it up to be.
Yeah.
So therefore, inevitably, it was just like not like it was like, oh, this is like another good TV show. I could have definitely like left this for another time. So I never got past the first season because like people overhype shit. Right. So long story short, when people would tell me not to do something, that just is the green motherfucking light.
Okay, I revoked.
Dexter's the greatest show of all time.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
I
hold
don't
on.
give
I
a shit if he
revoked
does
what I
it or
said
not.
to Michael the other night about you having.
Can you
really
burn
good-
the Confederate flag first, please?
I'm in. I got an idea for that already.
No, because the American flag was here first, and there would have been no Confederate flag if not for the stars and bars.
Well, if you do it, can you wear the Confederate flag as a diaper or something?
While holding the Bible, yes.
Upside down.
Okay.
I just had a really bad visual image.
I actually thought about my sicker side of my brain thought, okay, on election day, I'm too cheap to buy a MAGA hat. I won't give them a fucking dollar of my money. But I thought, what if I got a MAGA hat and like you can't film taking an actual shit in a hat, but somehow represent that. Like
Yes, you can. Just make an OnlyFans.
No, you catch the plot, but you can't catch the whole thing, right?
Stuff, you know. Not yours. I don't want to see yours.
You can do it. You just need to get a fucking reliable cameraman or woman who is trustworthy.
I got time.
You need to make an OnlyFans so you can actually fucking put that shit up.
So
but then that's
what
capitalism
trying to say,
because you get paid for that.
Of course. Go ahead.
Boyce is trying to say that's against community guidelines on YouTube where his podcast streams, Matt. And so the only way around it is he would have to pixelate it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I'm saying is go off site on the OnlyFans.
That may even be banned on OnlyFans.
No. How?
Do you remember the two girls in the one cup thing?
No. Right now, Matt is letting us know a lot more about his personal life than any of us want to know.
Wait, how does that get banned on OnlyFans? I've never watched anything on OnlyFans. I figure that's a space where you can post whatever the fuck you want about yourself since people are paying to fucking watch.
I don't think they go that far.
Hey, Matt, you had better not.
I bet you they have scat play on there somewhere.
What's up?
You better not take a dump in a MAGA hat. Don't do it.
Don't you dare! I'll pay you not to.
There's just so many ideas. There's just so many ideas flowing right now.
No, don't listen to them.
I'm gonna have to go get me some Taco Bell to make sure this shit runs proper.
Oh my god!
What you do is you get a bunch of people to together collectively shit in a MAGA hat. You're adding communism to it.
Oh my god!
This isn't the segment you guys think it's going to be. No one's gonna.
Cheyanne.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
No one's walking away from this segment being like, I feel like I'm more to the left now, and that I want to have progressive.
No.
Good.
It.
If you ain't about it, we don't want you here. Either you're down for the cause, or you're some kind of Brussels sprouts motherfucker.
No,
I'll leave you
no,
one
one,
final image.
no one joins the cause with that symbolism.
One final visual is spell MAGA in turds, bro. That's the way to go.
Oh my god.
It's like
Carl
icing on a cake. Sorry,
Carl
guys.
said
I had
if
to
you
go
burn the Confederate flag, that might be seen as an act of war.
Why? And if it is good,
If it is
good.
it's a war you're gonna lose.
That's why
again.
I think it'll piss more people off, especially if you burn that Confederate flag.
Yeah,
Or
but the
wear it as a
message.
diaper.
But the message is Americans need to hear. It's not a partisan message. It's a reality that that flag no longer represents what it should represent, at least what we thought it represented, what it could represent. And it's failing too many fucking people here, both domestically and abroad. And it's just malarkey to stand in pride for something that's hurting so many people at this point in time. And while I love this country, I can no longer support what it's doing. And I burn this flag not because I hate America, but because I hope something better can be brought from the ashes. So,
yeah. I'm still considering myself just as a veteran, putting on my military stuff, and then burning it. Just to be ultra fucking symbolic. Like I'm the white privileged straight male.
You still
veteran.
have your military gear? Oh my god!
I have a deployment jacket that when I got deployed overseas, I have a coat somewhere. I think it's. I have no idea where it's at, but I do have one. I do have my old uniform, my dress whites, but that shit don't fit me. I'm not squeezing in that son, bitch. Boy, let me tell you, that is snug. Okay, let's knock out this last one. I got about 25 minutes. You burned all of it. I burned everything but that. Just my dress whites. I don't know why. I think it's because I wanted to dress it up for Halloween or some shit. But anyway, speaking of fucking crazy shit, let's talk about California. Okay, who wants to? Why are you burning up all your fuel, bro? Matthew.
Matt, are you frozen or?
Oh,
I think he's frozen.
Yeah, he's stuck.
All right, Matt.
What
What a good image
He's
to
back.
get frozen on.
Hey, fuck you guys.
I asked out of concern.
That would be an awesome.
You did.
awesome
Shy did ask. She said it in a nice, pleasant tone. Matt, are you frozen?
I said, why are you burning your shit?
Are you okay?
Anyway.
No.
All right, so let's go and get to the last one. So Matt, I'm gonna throw it to you since you live in California.
I don't know anything about this one. This was dropped on me new.
Okay, then I'll take it from there. Unless you want to do it, Shy.
No, I don't mind if you do it. You'll probably be able
Okay.
to execute it better than me.
All right, guys. So, let's see if we can change some minds tonight again, guys. So in California, they're trying to create a bill to legalize psychedelics in California. So they're considering a bill to legalize, not just decriminalize, but legalize magic mushrooms, ecstasy, and several other hallucinogenic substances. The proposal set off an intense debate over how far California should go to embrace novel medical treatments and destigmatize drug use without compromising public safety. Ugh, the kids, you know.
Destigmatize drug use without compromising public safety.
Kind of like a
It's not
vaccine,
like-
but anyway.
Even if you make it legal, it's not like they're going to make it legal and drive.
Right.
So I really don't. Yeah, do it.
It's
crazy.
it's really simple. It's really simple. Whenever conservatives get pissed off about drugs, abortion, things of this nature, just remind them that, well, you can't fucking legislate guns away, right? That's what you guys all remind us, right? That criminals are just going to fucking criminal, right? They're just going to do what they're going to do. So you're not going to be able to legislate this innate human behavior way, because guess what? It's not just humans trying to get high off shit. Lots of animals across the world like to get high on shit. It's what people and species and animals do in this little world of ours. They get high on shit.
Well, here's my thing. If they really care about public safety, get rid of cigarettes. Get rid of alcohol. We saw that didn't work. Prohibition is a failure. You can't
Get rid of Republicans.
There's a public safety hazard. Yeah. So
Let's talk benefits. So go ahead, boys. Talk benefits.
Yeah. So the bill is called the Senate Bill 519, would decriminalize the possession and non-commercial sharing of psychedelics by people 25 and older. So 25, not 21. Or I'm sorry, 25. I said 25, 21 and older. I'm sorry, Jesus. It says while research into potential benefits of psychedelics to treat PTSD, depression, and anxiety is becoming increasingly mainstream in academic settings, the bill goes beyond medical application to allow recreational use of psychedelics. Here's the thing: it would not permit sale of psychedelics in government-sanctioned shops the way cannabis is under state law, but sets up the framework for California to move towards regulating psychedelic drugs in the future. It's a baby step. So it's not what it needs to be, right? Go like Portland, just say fuck it, go full sin, and say totally legalize possession or decriminalize possession, and then still, if you have people making, I think it's specific to psychedelics. I like because psychedelics typically aren't habit forming, aren't addictive. What? They're not typically addictive, like mushrooms. Those things aren't addictive. Not chemically, not they're habitual.
I would say ecstasy would be addictive.
Well, if not pure ecstasy.
It says MDMA.
I know, but I'm saying like the drug on the street has been cut with cocaine and shit like that. That's why it becomes it's a stimulant. Like you get addicted to the stimulants. But the actual MDMA doesn't give you a chemical withdrawal, if you will, like cigarettes, alcohol.
They don't chemically alter the brain. So like your brain's not like becoming dependent upon that alteration in higher doses to get to that state. So you can become dependent upon like anything. You can become dependent upon anything in terms of like behavior and shit, right?
Yeah.
Like you can depend on a person, right? On a fucking like a certain sound, a certain show, a certain smell, etc. But to Boyce's point, it's not the same kind of dependency that it creates.
Not like crack cocaine, not like
right.
Coke, any kind of stimulant. method. Yeah, go ahead, Haas.
So, and I mean, when we're talking about stuff like this, I'm not the type who likes to bring up other countries, but I look at what Portugal did when they pretty much legalized everything.
Yep.
What happened?
Overdoses dropped. Everything fucking dropped.
Everything dropped. The usage of it went down.
Crime
went down. Everything just decreased. This is a step in the right direction. But you want to break the cartels in Mexico that you hear every conservative crying about. Oh, think of the children. You wanna fix families. You wanna save as many lives as possible. All that stuff.
Get the vaccine.
But we don't.
But we don't. Because war on drugs.
Yeah.
All that money gets.
What happened? What happened in the aftermath of the war on terror, Anthony? You know, probably. What happened in the aftermath of the war on terror? We end up in Afghanistan. What happened to our fucking What happened with the rates of like opiate use and ODs and things of that nature? Fucking skyrocketed. What's in Afghanistan?
Opium. Huge fields of it.
Poppies.
Who made billions of dollars shy? See you in a second. I'm gonna get you. Who made billions of fucking dollars in the aftermath of our little invasion to Afghanistan? Who's now facing certain penalties and shit for pumping the shit in the markets, right? Pumping the shit.
Purdue Pharma.
Boom. So sorry, Shy. Go ahead. My bad.
No, it's okay. It's just when Hot Sauce brought up think of the children. I was like, it's interesting because of the war on drugs. There is an entire generation of children that were programmed to look at people who are addicted to a drug as a degenerate. And so like they're all in their 30s and 40s now, and they have no empathy for people with an addiction.
Right.
And this is, so like decriminalizing everything will make it so the next generation isn't like the DARE kids, isn't like the kids that are the programmed.
Anthony, do you know the kind of premise behind Portugal? Have you seen like that TED Talk on like Rat Park and all that jazz? Yeah, so it hits on what Shai just was kind of expanding on, right? So when you create the conditions that lead to this type of behavior and things of that nature, right, you attribute it to the person or like their character or something, right? We like demean them, right, dehumanize them. But the reality is this is conditions lead to these things, right? If you were to improve conditions, give people better choices, better things to do, they wouldn't do this. So it's like they looked at this with the Rat Park, right? So in like the 60s and 70s, there was an experiment done where there was just rats in a cage, and there'd be a water laced with meth, I believe it was, and a water that just was regular water. And over time, almost all the rats would OD. They would just go towards the water with the meth, and they would overdose eventually. And so it's assumed, given choice between just sobriety or drugs, people are going to choose drugs, right? They like that more. Someone came along and was like, there's some things we can add to this. There's some variables missing here. What if we were to, improve the conditions of this cage, right? Give them some greenery, give them some food, give them some, partners, right? Other, all that shit. Make Rat Park, right? Like a fun place for rats, but also still leave the water and the laced water, right? They found that none of the rats overdosed. Overwhelmingly, most of them stopped using that water. They didn't even use that water, and very few did. And the few that did, it was within doses. They weren't overdosing. It was more of like a recreational use, even within that context. Mm-hmm. So, long story short, fix your fucking society, and you'll fix your shitty outcomes.
Well, my big thing too is about research, man. Like, look what we found out about marijuana already. The benefits of just one fucking flower, and now we're finding benefits of mushrooms and ayahuasca, all these MDMA, DMT. There's all beneficial things for recircuitry, for PTSD, anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia. We need to study it more to give better medicine. This shit is medicine. It's natural medicine. And it grows out of the ground. Typically, Mother Nature doesn't want you to get you addicted, right? So it's just the balance of nature. So I think that we should 100% legalize every single drug, good or bad. Legalize it, and then it can be regulated, and you can test it. Like, okay, if I got ecstasy, I can get it tested at a local pharmacy. Hey, man, can you put that little drip on this bad boy? Is that thing blue or purple? Cool, it's blue. Let's go fucking party. But it's a controlled substance. It should be controlled. Not just willy-nilly, any dipshit on the street can mix it with baby laxatives and fucking, like cocaine or fentanyl. It'll kill you. So I don't know, man. I'm 100% on board legalizing everything. Sex work, drugs, punch yourself in the nuts. I do not care. Just don't punch my nuts.
Well, when you make things illegal, what do? You're making victims. You're making people who shouldn't be criminals. I mean, look at when we made alcohol illegal, when we, the United States, made alcohol illegal in the early 19th century. You made a bunch of people who weren't criminals suddenly criminals. And all you did was create more victims. All you did was create more people who were going to get hurt by improper creation of alcohol. And it's the same thing with the drugs. We can't monitor them, so we can't help them. Like Matt said, you got to fix your society on this. Our entire societal mindset is completely messed up.
Let's think about this from the conservative talking point too, right? You want to secure the border? Legalize drugs. There's no market now. They don't have a reason to come here to sell because we already got some. Like that's the MS-13. Blah, there's like 14,000 total, guys. Relax. It's not 1.4 million, right? But here he comes. He's back. All right. But yeah, so if we legalize everything, then that takes, because when you criminalize stuff, you put it in the black market. And that goes to usually places that don't keep them in check, which is south of the border right now and overseas. So I think you want to control the border. Okay, well then legalize all drugs. Then we'll keep all those resources here and stop funding a criminal war, a drug war in South and Central America and South America. That's what really happens. Cocaine, the poppies, the marijuana, all that stuff that's made somewhere else. We're actually funding their own civil war with our money. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Am I dragging? Oh, shit.
Carl's Jr. mentioned something that struck me. The DARE program. 5th grade me had no idea what drugs were or anything. And here comes along this program that tells me where I can find these drugs and what they do. I swear, it was like almost like a menu. That whole drug war culture, that was absolutely strange to me.
Don't be a dope.
Yep. I'm Gruff the crime dog.
Crack is whack.
Well, part of legalizing all that is also removing the stigma from testing it, like you say, and also opening up doors to actually researching it. Because, like myself, I have a bone spur pressing on a nerve in my neck. It can be really painful. It's kind of like diabetic nerve pain. It shoots pain down the left side of my body. Years ago, I went to the doctor for it, did an MRI. He put me on something called tramadol, if you've ever heard of it. And he put me on a fast-acting tramadol, a long-term release tramadol, and a steroid, and I was getting constant shots in my neck. And then I lost my job. After being on those drugs for 2 years, suddenly I didn't have any more. And if you've ever heard of kratom, I've been taking kratom since then. But I can, even when I don't have I don't have benefits to get medical care, I can still get the kratom. But if you look up kratom on the internet, you're going to get all kinds of scary shit about it. It's not true.
Well, I read one study because my dad started taking it because he's, got diabetes and gets neuropathy and stuff. And so he started taking it. And so I started researching it. And there are some studies out there that have shown that, if taken over time and in certain doses, it can damage your kidneys and your liver and stuff like that. So be careful with it.
Yeah, I've been on the same dose for the last 3 years. So I am careful about it, but I would feel better if they did more studies on it. And if it was so that I know what's in it when I order it, It's not illegal in this state, but it's something that I would feel better. You never know if you're going to get one and somebody's going to try and put some fentanyl in there or something,
Right.
So
you don't have medicinal marijuana where you're at?
We do, but I don't respond to marijuana like a lot of people do. It doesn't do a whole lot for me for pain, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Plus the medical marijuana situation here in Florida is very, very expensive.
I'm in Florida too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. So it's kind of a pain in the ass. It's been handed over to some select few people to profit off of.
Yeah. You ever tried the edible form?
I have tried edible form, and that works better.
That gives you the body buzz. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
I like the gummies.
Me too, for sleep.
But By the way, I have to tell you guys, I did get that job I was telling you guys about. I started last Monday, and I got benefits now.
Oh, congratulations.
So,
that's awesome. Man.
Thank you.
Congrats,
I checked into that medical marijuana.
There
Welcome
you
back
go.
to the capitalist trap. Go ahead, Asaf.
So Carl's Jr. said legalize everything is not responsible.
Wrong.
So I just wanted to address that. Portugal did it, and that's where all the hard information is. But Portugal didn't just go, all the drugs are illegal, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Portugal took the step further and said, you can get all the drugs you want for free, and we have special facilities where you can take them, and we have medical staff on standby to keep an eye on you, and we can monitor you and see what the effects do, as well as if something goes bad, we make sure you don't die. And we also make sure that the quality of the drugs is safe for human consumption.
And why'd they have the money to do that? Because that costs less. Because that costs less than incarcerating motherfuckers for human behavior.
Yeah.
And guess what? Here's the problem. In this country, it's not just that we jail people for human behavior. We know that when we're talking about marijuana, for example, despite the fact that 16.8% of white people smoke and like 15.5% of black people smoking, so basically the same rate, we know that a black man is, or I don't know if it's a black man or black people in general, but we know that black community, more than likely, I think it's black community, is 3.64 times more likely to get charged and imprisoned because of that. Dude, so that's why we have to legalize shit for two reasons. One, because we've seen real world data that when you do this the right way, it actually decreases the bad outcomes related to drug use. And two, because we know the application of this mindset that you're advocating for leads to disproportionate outcomes even within that bullshit. So
To pepper on the piggyback of that, I found a place where there was unlimited drugs. Any drug you could ever want. All the drugs. You want a drug? You go here. Only the doors weren't getting kicked in. It was the suburbs. Those rich white kids, they were doing all the drugs. They had all the cocaine, all that stuff.
Oh, they still are. Crap. What are you talking about?
Absolutely. But there's no doors getting kicked in. You go to the ghetto or the trailer park.
No, because mom and daddy can pay off the police. Are you crazy?
It's their neighborhood.
So like Matt was saying, it's absolutely disproportionate. The way it's treated is, I mean, it always goes back to racism, doesn't it? And capitalism and everything else. The drug war targets poor people and people based on race. You get apparently you get a bigger charge for crack cocaine than you do normal cocaine, and it's almost identical.
Wait a second. What did it say in the 13th Amendment? What was that exception for? When the whole we got rid of slavery except for what?
Incarceration.
Oh yeah. And what country and out of all developed nations incarcerates the most motherfuckers by a shit ton and it's not even close?
Would that be the United States?
Oh yeah. And so that same country had its own unique shitty version of slavery, and it's also incarcerating a fuck ton of people still. It's also disproportionately doing that to black people still, the same people they're enslaving. Whoa, fuck. That's wild.
That's wild.
No, never. America ain't racist.
It's the greatest country on earth, remember? Didn't you guys know?
So Carl's Jr., how's that a rebuttal? This is not Portugal. What does that mean? We're not humans? They're not. Are the Portuguese some different species that have transcended humanity that we don't know of?
Probably.
Yeah. Like, with all due respect to people who are like, I don't like to take other countries, like what happened in other countries is like what we should do in America. Like, America is a young country. It's only a couple hundred years old. It's like an adolescent that's just out of control. We should look to our elders.
At one point in time, like the world was ending slavery, and we were telling the world they were wrong, and we kept doing it. So, like that mindset, like if extended, it's American exceptionalism, Carl's. It's the issue we run into, dude. It's the issue. It's this idea that somehow we do everything the best. It's like, and we don't. I'm not saying we don't do things better than others. I like the fact that we have really big portions for food, but it should probably be the type of thing that everyone gets big portions. You know, like not just us, for example, or a few people within our society. Like, you know, things like that.
Or like at Carl's Jr., right?
Maybe does he want some stats? Okay. Drug-related deaths have remained below the EU average since 2001. The proportion of prisoners sentenced for drugs has fallen from 40% to 15%. Rates of drug use have remained consistently below the EU average ever since Portugal has legalized drugs.
Yeah, I'm for it. And here's the thing, man.
I mean, I'm trying to play devil's advocate, so I'm really looking for the negatives on it.
Yeah. Where is the downside?
Dogma. Dogma's been attacked. You've attacked someone's dogma.
Yeah.
How fucking dare you motherfuckers attack their dogma like that?
I mean, because it's not like it's going to make it more available, because drugs are always going to be available. I could, probably walk down the street and find every
Caffeine's
kind of
a
drug I'm
fucking
looking
drug.
for.
Caffeine's a motherfucking drug.
Yes, it is. And you better
Anything
not
that
take
alters
that
your
away.
anything that alters your mindset, that alters your fucking anything that alters you is a fucking drug. Basically.
That is the most addictive drug, and I've tried pretty much everything. Quit drinking coffee for a week and see how you feel. It's the worst fucking feeling ever.
It is.
Kiss coffee.
Carl's
Never
Jr.
had
Comments
Shut your mouth.
much. Okay. What kind of argument is that? That because we've sunk a bunch of money into something, that we just kind of have to continue to sink money into it?
There's a fallacy for that.
They're public servants. They will take the money we give them and like it.
Well,
This is
the
crazy.
hot sauce leftists here. Screw that money. Again, I don't care about money. It's paper. It's made up. The value that we put on it is imaginary. We don't have anything backing it anymore. So, like you said, there's a fallacy behind that. But the other thing is I said
There's
earlier,
something backing it. It's to your point. It's not backed by a gold standard anymore. Now it's done like with credit rates and things of that nature. So it's not like we print physical money anymore, right? Like we can, but we play with rates and you can adjust. Like so, it's. I hear your point, but like dude, like don't know. I'm with you in the whole like money is kind of a stupid like thing to some extent, right? Like look at for what it is. It's just a way to fucking facilitate trade, skill sets, things like this. But like there is something to be said for something that gives you exchange value to like kind of account for the fact that maybe you have something that someone else doesn't need, but you still need what they have, but you have to find a way to get access to that. Something to be said for that conversation, I would say.
Let's take those billions of dollars and put it into the healthcare system and actually.
sure. Yeah, that's fine. Sorry, there was some noise going on and I didn't want to ruin your recording, so that's why I shut up.
And that's a common refrain we hear from the right.
But I mean, money,
their country doesn't have a bunch of different types of people. They're all the same. We get that kind of nonsense when we try to shoot for universal health care too. Oh, well, that UK stuff won't work because they're all the same. That stuff in Scandinavia won't work because they're all heterogeneous. No, it was originally an American idea to do some of these things, and we let it go. And the other countries were like, "Hey, that's a good idea," and they implemented it, and they're doing a better job.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I was going to say. When you look, I don't normally like to look at other countries, but the reason why I don't is because those other countries are using American ideas.
How about we stop looking at other countries and we look at Oregon? They're the first state to decriminalize the possession of drugs.
Yep.
They started that this year.
Colorado. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if you need a, and I don't mean you, hot sauce. I'm talking about Carl. If you need a safe space and it makes you uncomfortable to look outside of America, like, yeah, there's also studies in America that can help you understand, but we need to normalize. It's okay to look to other countries to see what America should be doing.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, in Canada, after our failed insurrection, they were like, we should make the Proud Boys, designate them as domestic terrorists. So
They
yeah.
fucking are terrorists.
And what did we do, Carl's Jr.? Some of us had debates with them on TikTok Live like fucking idiots. So that's what we did.
What's this we shit?
Yeah, I just got the ability to go live today. I didn't do anything like that, man.
Oh boy. Yeah, I gotta wrap this shit up. Okay. So drugs, yes. So do you like drugs, kids? Hi, do you like violence?
I'm gonna stick 9-inch nails into each one of my eyelids. Yeah. Copy me.
Anyway.
I like drugs and violence.
Yes. I'm for it.
Michael Patrick pops up.
I mean, because here's the thing, just because it's legal doesn't mean people are going to run out and do it. I know a lot of people here that could run out and get, marijuana because it's legal. We're not running out and doing it. Like,
Right.
it's just not going to happen. The people
that
that are
end.
running out and doing it are the people that were doing it before it was legalized.
When you
That's
legalize
all.
something, you normalize something. When you normalize something, you take away the whole crazy aspect of it.
Mhm.
And a lot of societies which have normalized like drinking at an earlier age, for example, certain levels of drug use, things of that nature, they have lower levels of drug use and for sure lower levels of incarceration as it relates to it, and less issues as it relates to it, and less overdoses and things of that nature. because again, you can't. It's the same. Like so with abortion, for example, if you look at societies that try to legislate against abortion, right? They make abortion illegal. Typically, what that entails is also an attack against contraceptives, sex ed, things of that nature, and abortions increase.
Yep.
Because because here's the thing, people are gonna fuck no matter what, buddy. You can't change that, right?
Yep.
And so if you try to change that, if you try to limit people's ability to understand that, well, they're still gonna partake in the behavior, and there's gonna be more bad outcomes, right? Yep. So it's the same thing. People like to utilize substances. This is what humans do, because again, this behavior extends beyond humans even, right? So this is a behavior, this is something of the universe, right? That goes beyond even us as a species. And if you try to control that, it's gonna go worse. Because when you try to control things that are uncontrollable, it goes worse. That's what humans have failed to understand, and might always fail to understand, I think. So.
And the bottom line, until you get rid of pain, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, you're never going to get rid of drugs.
Holy
so
shit.
Cure that, and then you might cure drug use.
There's the motherfucker in the chat right there.
And the other thing, what we've been doing hasn't been working. And doing nothing isn't really the answer either. So,
yeah,
you want an answer to it? Legalize it. That's what all the.
Oh my God! I think you just turned Carl's Jr.
Also, Carl's question: do you smoke? Do you utilize caffeine? Have you ever had alcohol? Do you partake in substances? Are these rules for you or rules for others? By the way.
Yeah. Well, the American exceptionalism is culturally indoctrinated. We have to do a stupid fucking speech in front of a flag. We're in kindergarten. Before we even learn how to actually read, we learn how to recite the fucking oath. And also shooters. So before you learn how to read in America and do arithmetic, you learn how to recite a cult following of a fucking phrase to a piece of cloth on the wall. And you learn how to do school shooter drills. So that's how fucked up and backwards we are. As a country.
Hold on. That sheep LVR said the U.S. should make changes, but doing a one-to-one copy of other nations' policies won't yield the same results, and we need to consider the counteracted EV. But we do that. We've always done it.
I agree with that.
But we've done it, is the thing. We have literally copied other nations' policies to the T. Our social programs like Medicare and Social Security, that was copied from Germany, from stuff that Otto von Bismarck put into play. Our system of government was copied from like the Greeks and the Romans with their republican system and their democracy. So none of our ideas that we inherently have are even original. So pardon me, and I don't mean to insult you, that's a very silly thing to say.
Well, even so, you don't have to do
I wouldn't say it's a
copy.
silly.
I think he's got a point.
And tweak it for your own country.
Yeah.
So Hot Sauce actually was right in everything he said. I'm just not sure it's fully fair as a response to what Sheep said there, because I think Sheep's got a point, right? So when that's actually a mistake in life. You do have to account for the various variables at play in one situation and look at the variables at play in the second situation and account for that. I think that's overstated rebuttal, right? I think it's kind of grasping at straws to try and find differences and reasons not to do that. But yeah, of course, there's things you need to account for and differences that exist that might impact outcomes, things like that. But I don't think that's an issue when we're talking about like drug use, for example, and the criminalization of that or the lack thereof of like those types of policies.
Yeah.
So,
but we know it doesn't work if doing nothing. We know that doesn't fucking work.
Right.
We have to do something. What's the data say? Try this. It's simple science, guys. This doesn't work. Fuck that. This works. Let's try it. And like Ron was saying, you have some deviations, then you adjust. Simple fucking shit, man. It's kind of like eating food.
I think they're going to look very hard at Oregon since they're the first state, you know? I think they're going to look at them and see how they do and probably use them as a template.
What refresh me? I haven't really been paying attention to it. What exactly is Oregon doing since we're on the drug?
So they can no longer arrest someone for possession of small amounts of heroin, methamphetamine, LSD, oxycodone, and other drugs.
Everything.
Yeah. They would, now it says small amounts, so I guess, they can't be like, selling drugs or anything, just personal
They weigh
use.
different. They weigh different amounts.
Right.
You're talking like 1 to 2 grams, you're chilling. If you're chilling you're chilling.
They would get a $100 fine or a health assessment that could lead to addiction counseling.
Right. Yeah. It's more of a medical approach.
Guess what's going to fund it? Or what does fund it, I should say.
I
What?
don't know.
The marijuana tax.
Yes,
That's amazing.
that actually is in there.
Marijuana saves lives, baby.
You think so?
I think so.
Yeah, it saves my life, bro. Keeps me nice and calm. Y'all think I'm an angry motherfucker? You should see me when I'm sober.
Oh my god.
All right, guys, let's wrap this shit up. I gotta go. Oh my god. All right, so let us know what you guys think about that in the comment section. Thumbs up, thumbs down for drugs. We like drugs, kids. And like, share, subscribe, follow all the other crazy shit, right? But thanks for joining us again. So Sunday is going to be the next live stream for the daily news, and then Monday we're going to do a discussion panel talking about Marxism, socialism, and capitalism, and what can we do about this?
Oh boy,
I'm ready. That'd be a fun one. I'm here to learn. I'm not coming with some expertise. I'm here to learn more. Like, we got to have another solution. We can't just get rid of shit without a plan to replace it with another system. So, but yeah, guys, thanks for joining us, and go read a fucking book. All right, cool. All right, guys. Yeah,
read this book.
Yeah. What was that book you said a minute ago? It wasn't very long. I'm looking that up right now in my audio book thingy.
Critical race theory.
Communist Manifesto.
The Communist Manifesto.
Oh, and the Communist Manifesto, yeah.
Okay.
Also, you're going to need to get Das Kapital at some point.
Don't forget Wealth of Nations, too.
I didn't catch that second one.
Wealth of Nations.
Das Kapital.
Das
DAS space
Oh,
KAP. Yeah, Kapital. That is yeah, and then Wealth of Nations.
Yeah. Those are his three. Basically, Communist Manifesto. That's where he brings in all the social stuff to the economic stuff. And
That's that's why I want to read that one, because I actually just bought that on my audio book. I'll listen to that while I'm driving tomorrow. But yeah, man. So I'm gonna cut this shit up, and I'll tag you guys. I'll make some TikTok clips and shit like that, of course, and put it on YouTube and la la la. If any of you guys want the raw shit, let me know. I can email it to you.
Email me the raw stuff going forward, so I can just post this direct to YouTube as well.
Yeah. I just put it up for the last one too. Is it just mute the media at Gmail?
Yep, perfect.
Okay.
And then send me anything you want advertised, and I'll make sure that's in the description too. So anything you want.
Anybody else want the raw footage to fuck with and edit if you want to play with it or whatever? If you guys do, just let me know. Hit me up in a DM and we'll. Oh yeah. Okay, guys, we're out of here. Sorry, I forgot to end the live